Well, hi, my name is Brent Stromwall. I'm a certified EOS Implementer, and I'm here today with Rich Quiñones.
How's it going?
With SB Comm. He is the visionary for SB Comm. Started it back in 2011. We've been working together now for a little over 2 years.
Yeah.
About 2.5 years.
That's right.
Ish, almost. So I want to just jump into that. Why EOS? Not working with me, but just why EOS?
Oh, that's a great question. So it started with a referral from another business owner who started their EOS journey. And they handle our service department. We partnered together, and upon further reflection, he was like, you know what, I'm just gonna send you a book. And he sent me Traction and Rocket Fuel. He said, start with Traction. So I did. And I felt like I opened up Pandora's box when I finished the book. I was like, I must do this. This is just gonna solve everything that we've been struggling with. So that's what started the journey. And then I made the mistake of trying to self-implement, but that's a different story.
Yeah, well, that's where I was gonna go next. So you read the book.
Yeah.
But you didn't contact me. It was through a fellow implementer.
Yes.
Fellow implementer who referred me to you.
That's right.
So tell me that story, because I don't even know that story.
Sure. So it was Justin. He worked with that company that I was friends with the owners with.
Okay.
He was my like the onboarding specialist.
Yep.
So he left to become an EOS implementer in a different state, but we hit it off. So when I knew he was an EOS implementer, I reached out to him. I said, self-implementing is not going to happen. So Justin, what is it going to take? And then he said, you know, in all honesty, to best suit you, I want to find somebody that's in your state, because he wasn't local. And he started giving me some names, and then that's when I reached out to you. And then we had that first initial discussion.
Yeah. So you said you tried self-implementing. Tell us that, because you and I met, and I think was your wife there, Veronica?
Yes.
She was in that first meeting, the 90-minute meeting.
That's right.
I think it was just you two.
It was Veronica, myself, and Chris at that time.
Okay.
That's right.
So it was the three of you. I went through the 90-minute meeting. You decided, yeah, we'll do this on our own, I think. Is that how it went down?
Yeah, we looked at it with what I would say it's now a reflection, with limited vision, right? Okay. Limited goggles. There was definitely some blinders up, because the only thing we saw was the financial restraint. As a small business, we were like, ooh, that's going to eat our cash flow. But we never looked at it from an investment perspective. So we said, let's self-implement. My wife, as well as Chris, was like, you're a very process-driven person, Rich. You can do this. So I said, okay, well, let's do that and save on the cash flow. But then I realized, probably within that 6 months to 9 months in, I was like, this is too much for me to do on my own. Right. I'm doing a lot of research on my own. I'm trying to self-educate myself as much as possible to lead the team correctly. And just in my heart and in my gut, I was like, there's something missing. I don't know what it is, but something's missing. And it was proof with the culture of the team, where we were heading. You could see it going down. And the way I read Traction was like, this is supposed to just start taking off. Right. If, you know, especially with a smaller team like ours, you know, it should start taking grip, and then, like I said, traction, and start moving in the right direction. And it wasn't. It kept going down. So that's when I realized, like, okay, I can't do this on my own. I need to reach out. And it was close to a year later when I reached back out, and I said, August 2023, I still remember it. Yeah. I was like, hey, Brent, let's do this.
Yeah. I remember getting the email from you, hey, you got time to talk? I'm like, sure. Yeah, what do you want to talk about? And
that's right.
You said, hey, I just tried my focus day. It was a bomb, not the bomb, but a bomb, I think, or something like that. And you said, I've read Traction. I think you said, I've read Traction like 3 times, and I'm more confused now than ever. And I've got our next 2 dates already on the calendar. Can you come and start over and fill them in for us? I'm like, oh, wow, okay.
Yeah.
So obviously it was a bit overwhelming, and you weren't getting the results that you expected to be getting and you just decided, I need to be working on the business and let somebody else come in and do this.
That's exactly right. You know, me trying to implement something that I'm not a specialist at, is definitely more toxic to the culture versus having somebody come in and help, right? And the buy-in wasn't there. Like I could tell with my team, the buy-in just wasn't there. They were just like, oh, another great idea by our boss. Awesome. So that's exactly how it felt. So I was like, oh, I need to change this up. And, you know, just I saw it even that first day when we did that reset. I could tell the team bought it. I was like, this is what I've been looking for, finally.
Got it. Cool. So what were some of the challenges you had, other than, once starting with me as your implementer, what were some of the challenges you had implementing EOS in the business?
Wow, that's a great question. So in reflection on that one, it actually boiled down to me as the leader and letting go. That was really tough. And I know you and I had a few personal one-to-one conversations on that, which was great guidance and not overwhelming, but it just, that level of growth to let go of that vine is a lot harder than when you read it. It was way harder, but it feels like a lifetime ago now because it finally letting go of that vine. But yeah, that was the major challenge, as I realize now, is I wasn't letting go of that vine. It had to be my way, and my way is not always the right way. Especially being a visionary, after identifying that too, and that's other conversations you and I had. It's not always the right way. So that I think that was the biggest challenge, and it took a good year and a half to finally realize, oh, yeah, I need to stop being involved, just even being involved in the department, right? We had that conversation about being in the operations Slack channel, like get out.
Yeah, right.
Man, that was the biggest thing ever. Like it truly has taken ground. They know if they need me, they reach me directly, but it's only in relation to the seats that I'm in.
Right.
And yeah, it's helped tremendously. Even just mentally, it's helped.
Yeah, good. So a lot of companies, when they get started, they're already in, I'm going to say, overwhelmed state, maybe working too much, 50, 60, 70 hours a week. And then they start this thing called EOS. And I say something like, hey, you're going to have homework. So there's even more work to do. How does that feel? Did you go through that, and how did that feel?
Oh, yes. Within that first year, you know, the homework was read this book. You know, I need this by next quarter. And I was like, oh, where am I going to fit this into my life between family and running a business and then the employees and their families, right? Because they rely on the company. Right. It felt very overwhelming at first. Yeah. But with due diligence on it, it's like you said, it's an investment. And sometimes we have to prioritize, and this is what I've learned is I had to prioritize that homework superseded the everyday in the work tasks. And if you look at that and you know say what's the most priority here, the homework was the biggest priority. So we learned that probably after our second quarterly as a leadership team. Okay, yeah, we didn't do the homework both times, and this was our growth. We need to make that priority. And upon doing that, that was a really growth from there.
How about early on in the journey, you know, going through the focus day and then vision building day 1 and vision building day 2, doing that so quickly, like in the first 2 and 3 months, we're taking a full day away from the business. You were still involved in, and I think to much lesser extent, in the work you guys were getting done.
Yeah, I was even in the field at that
I
point.
remember like meeting you in the field once, bringing you something and
That's
drop
right.
it off at one of your project locations.
That's right. Yeah, I was still in the field, you know, not letting go, right? So, so for me personally, in my reflection, that full day work was, oh, we have to move these items to get these things done, and that was nerve-wracking. I guess that's the best word to say is nerve-wracking. There's a lot of anxiety too throughout the team, like how are we going to take away a whole day?
Right.
But then when we reached the end of that day, right, even as mentally exhausted as we were, we left there like just rejuvenated. And it was really an awesome feeling to have. It's just like one of those things you have to have faith and just dive in, and knowing where you're going and the team knowing where we're going. So it felt really rejuvenating. Both times we did it.
Yeah.
We were going into with a lot of anxiousness, but leaving calm and restful.
Yeah. So we have this saying in the EOS community, us implementers, we say we have to remind our clients, trust the process. Right? So early on, it's really difficult to think, I'm going to just keep taking on more and more and more, and it's going to work. Right? You got to trust that we're actually going to get there. So eventually, you start to see it, or at least there's this sense that this is working. Did that happen for you?
Oh, yes.
How early in would you say?
Well, as a small team, I feel like right off the rip, I knew the team bought in. So it started for us, I think, when we mapped out that accountability chart.
Oh, wow. Okay.
When we mapped that out and we just visually saw, right? Mentally, you're sitting in a lot of seats, but it's not fully identified, right? It's not structured and it's not present. And then when we laid it out, and my leadership team, right, is Jeff and Chris as well, we laid that thing out. We were like, whoa, we sit in a lot of seats. And each one has their responsibilities. There is no way we can accomplish this on our own. And we knew it's going to take time. But I think that's when we started seeing that progression, because we started chiseling at it, right?
Yeah,
It wasn't like, okay, we just made the statue and boom, there it is. It's like, okay, we got that marble block. We see it now. It's physical. Let's start chiseling away and make the artwork that we need to create. So that's the start, right? That was the starting line for us. And now, 2+ years later, the only person sitting in more than one seat as of today is me, because I sit in 2. But everybody else has their own seat.
Right.
So, and it has changed substantially. I'm here.
That's right.
I've never been able to do these kind of interviews and, other things that I would love to do, without the team sitting in their seats.
Right. Yeah, that's awesome. Were there things early on in the journey, I'm going to say towards your first or second quarterly, when that you saw more tangibly that this was working?
Yes. I think it was the second quarterly. There was a drill we did where we had the chart, right? The 6 major functions of EOS and how to run the business. And then we just took a candid, what do you call it? Like a vote of percentages.
Oh yeah, we assessed it.
We assessed it, and it was an awesome drill. We assessed everything, we looked at it, and then just, hey, what do you feel, percentage-wise, have we increased? Because we measured it before,
right?
And then we came back and we measured it again, and that number, that tangible number, was substantial.
Yeah.
And it wasn't substantial financially, not yet, but just to see that the team has seen it as well as the visionary seeing it, that was a relief, in all honesty.
Yeah.
That was a big relief. I was like, wow, yes, we're heading in the right direction.
Yeah.
So it happened real early for us, but at the same time, we were, a team of 4 when we started.
Right.
Right. So now we're a team of 11, all within 2 years.
2 years? So you're more than doubled in 2 years?
Yeah. The first year was a 47% growth, and this year is projected to be 45% growth.
Whoa.
Yes. So, things are moving in the right directions, and it's just, like we said, one rock at a time.
One rock at a time.
One rock at a time.
One little chip out of the marble every time, right?
Yeah. To create that nice statue.
Yeah.
Hopefully my statue will be in a museum one day with a nice little spotlight.
I'm just thinking about which museum it would be in. No, I'm kidding. So I want to go back to, you said you weren't seeing it financially yet. We reviewed the 6 key components, and percentage-wise, where were you when you started and where are you now? You said financially we didn't see the improvement yet. So eventually you did?
Yes.
Okay, so can you tell us a little bit about how you think EOS impacted that?
I know we started in August in 2023, and we were negative in our net profit. We were producing, but we were negative on our net profit. There wasn't really a lot of cash flow to work with, and it was like if you ever live on a personal side, it's like a paycheck to paycheck environment, and that's a tough thing even to live off of, let alone to run a business. So, and that was 10 plus years of being in business. I was like, something, please change. Right. So, when we started going through our rocks and we got to our first annual, within those 4 quarters, we just it kept increasing. And we had those, I remember very specifically, we set that 1-year plan to say, we need 3 months of operating cash flow in the bank. Cash. That was the first thing we put in that 1-year plan because we were so tired of being paycheck to paycheck company.
Right.
And we made it. And but it's because we wrote it down. It was there.
Right.
When you go to reflect on it and you're like, oh yeah, no, this is what we need to do. Right. We could see all these, like the book said, direction, shiny things. You're like, oh yeah, we should try that. We should do this. We should try that. We should focus on what needs to get done. And then you can move on to the next thing.
Right. What are some of the other benefits that you see of working with me as your implementer versus, well, maybe not doing EOS at all or doing it on your own?
I have already spoken to several business owners, integrators that are in the industry that we're in, and just outside business owners, even startups.
Yeah.
And the first thing I've been telling them is budget for an EOS implementer. Even as a startup, right? I know startups have a tough cash flow, right? But if you're putting that business plan together, budget for it.
Yeah.
I wish I knew it a whole lot sooner. And even current integrators to this date, I tell them all the time, don't try to self-implement. Focus on growing the business, and you will see the return way faster than it is to try to self-implement. Trying to say, because then you got to put your brain in a total mindset to say, okay, I got to create this structure, right? And we got to do a quarterly pulse meeting. That's an 8-hour outline. I mean, that's a lot of time to prep for. And you can't just talk about that for 8 hours. You got to have those breaks in between. So what do we do in those times? What kind of icebreakers can we do? That's a lot of thinking. That's just a lot of mental power. And it's definitely not worth it. I'd rather put that mental power into what I'm supposed to do as a visionary and create ideas, bring it to the team, have my integrator reject like 90% of them, but that's okay. Jeff, he will shut that down. But that's my job. And that's what I'm passionate in doing, right? So I get it, want to have the capacity to be the visionary. So, and that's where I should be. So, save that mental capacity. If you're looking at it from a hour perspective on your weekly resource hours, think of it from a mental perspective of resource hours, right? That is a resource, is who you are. And, saving that to something that will help.
Right. Were there any surprises for you along the journey? Like things that just stood out like, oh wow, I wasn't expecting that. That's great.
Yes. This is outside the EOS. I think, again, I'm biased because you're my implementer, right? So,
right.
But what I love is the things that are outside of it was the introduction to Iron Forums.
Okay.
I solely 100% am so appreciative of that. The other things is some of the things you bring, like educational about the human brain. I mean, that's helped me even with my wife, right? Just to understand how the brain works in the human environment. It started with obviously I've reflected it to the business first, but then just being able to absorb that information, learn from the experiences and your research to help implement into the team. So that's even outside the EOS world, but it's still very tangible because it helps me understand the people component. And that was the surprise to me. I remember the first time we did one was that you had like a soccer ball or whatever, and it had like different things that we had to ask questions.
Oh, a thumb ball, yeah.
Yeah, that one. Yeah. I remember that first drill. I was like, oh, I like this. This is cool. So yes, that was my major surprise.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Is there something where you just felt like, wow, I wanted this to be better, or that you're disappointed throughout the journey? Any point where you go, oh man, I wish we could have done better here, or I wanted this to work better?
I would say no. In reflection of the past 2 years, it's all been such a huge growth and such a fast pace. It's been so fast that it feels like it's a lifetime ago when we first met.
Yeah.
And it's only been 2 years.
2 years, right?
So it feels like a lifetime ago that we met. And I would say no. I would say maybe internally, the regret, like I said, was letting go sooner than later. And I regret not calling you more often.
Tell me more about that.
We've had probably a handful of one-to-one conversations throughout the time. And every single one was proven to be super fruitful. I remember one of them because I was at a theme park with my kids.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And my wife was like, "Go ahead. I know you need to take this call." Like she could tell mentally I was not there, and she was like, "Take the call." And she went on the little train ride in the zoo, and you and I were talking, and I felt the struggle of the L10, right? The L10 part, and I was like, for some reason, I feel like it's compliance and not that open and honest and being vulnerable and, just calling it out. Like, even if I'm the owner and I messed up, call it out. And that's what I want. And I verbally state that all the time.
Right.
But my actions were preventing it. And it was upon that, it was like, 40 minutes on the phone?
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. And you gave me 3 things to have homework on. Circling back to homework.
Yeah.
So, but it was upon that reflection in that call that I was like, okay, I got to focus on 3 things. And when I step into that next L10, I need to have these 3 things. Like, even if it's an index card or something, I got to remember to perform these actions. And I remember some of them very clearly was when I lead that leadership L10, I am not going to be the first one to start asking questions. I'm just going to present it and I'm going to let the team go. And that's part of being the visionary, is hearing from the leadership team. Sometimes they can hash this out on their own. And now they do.
Yeah.
And the only thing I'm asking for clarification on is okay, so we're identifying the root cause is this?
Right.
Yes? Okay. And I'm writing it down.
Yeah.
So that's where I sit now. And then I'm like, all right, well, let's go into discussion. How are we going to solve it, right? What to-dos do we need to do to get this issue solved once and for all? And there it goes again. It's a beautiful thing to see now. It's like, but again, that was another part of me having to let go because I felt like I needed to give my input, and I felt it saying, I feel like I'm part of the team. So I'm a very proactive, energetic person. I know this. And so I'm putting my input, but then the team was seeing it as like, oh, Rich wants it this way.
Right.
And it turned into more compliance.
Right.
So after that, and there was some other conversation, but that one definitely stood out the most, and it was the most.
So I didn't ruin your time with your family at the theme park?
No, by the time we got off the phone, the train parked. So it was perfect timing. I think God lined that up just right.
That's awesome. That's great. So, let's say that let's say I'm an entrepreneur. I've got a business, I've been running it for 10 years, got some staff, and I'm thinking, I'm like, gosh, I wish I had something I could do to improve the business. What would you say?
So I've done this already, actually twice. And the first thing I say is, look, you got to read this book, Traction. I don't even care if you buy it on Audible and listen to it while you're driving. You got to listen or read it, one or the other. And from there, my suggestion, because when you read this, I'm sure it's going to be a light bulb moment, find an implementer. Because it's going to change everything. That's exactly how I've been saying it.
Yeah.
And, you know, some people have actually Amazoned the book to them, like, here, just read the book.
Yeah.
You know, that's how it came to me. He literally Amazoned it and it showed up at my front door. And I said, okay, I'm going to read it. Mm-hmm. And I read that thing 4+ times.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, even going back on it, it's still something new. No little nugget that comes out of it.
Same.
Yeah.
Same. I try to read at least once a year.
Yeah, it's a great book. Great book. So that's what I recommend every single time.
And you've already said, anytime you have a conversation with an entrepreneur, hey, budget in an implementer. Mm-hmm. Why would you recommend me if you would? I'm going to jump out here and say, I assume you would. But
I already have.
Yes, I know. So, when you recommend me, why do you recommend me as an implementer? Because there's I think 15, maybe close to 20 here in the Atlanta area.
The open and honest approach of even calling me out in front of my team too, mm-hmm. which is awesome. I remember one of our, I don't know if it was the annual or if it was a quarterly, but when the team was complying, you stopped the meeting right there. You were like, hold it, everybody stop. And you literally called it out right then and there. Mm-hmm. You're like, why are you guys complying? And you're like, they were silent. And I was like, he goes, well, I'll tell you. It's because he's forced. And then you came to me. He's like, this is on you. And I was like, oh, snap. I felt like I was in school, like I was in trouble.
I didn't hit you with a ruler, did I?
No ruler. But that was another moment, right? That moment of like clarity of like, oh wow, it is. I entered enemy mode, mm-hmm. and didn't realize it. Right, the right brain shut down, so it literally went to the left side, became all logical, and like mm-hmm. we discussed was enemy mode, and the team recognized it and started to shut down. Mm-hmm. And, you know, that was about a year ago. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right.
And we just had our quarterly, right, July 29th.
Yeah, a little over
and
a
it's
month ago.
Totally different environment now.
Right.
That will probably be the main reason why. And the secondary, again, is the independent things that you bring to the table mm-hmm. and your experience, just as a former business owner and now EOS implementer. There's a lot you bring to the table. This is why we never fully graduated, right, from EOS.
Right.
We were like, we're going to stay in school more, and let's continue this journey because we just see so much in there that was like it's worth the investment. We no longer identify it as an expense, we identify it as an investment.
That's awesome. Thank you. Thanks for being here. I really appreciate it. Thanks for being as candid as you have been. Appreciate it, and gosh, I just am glad that we get to work together. And thank you for your vote of confidence to continue on this journey with me alongside you. Yeah, no, we're super looking forward to it. That when we IDS that one part of like, should we continue? I think that was the shortest issue we've ever had to IDS. So you're on our world record of the shortest issue to IDS. Awesome. It was like, it's more informational. Yeah, I'm just going to send them a yes. Okay, guys. All right, let's go. Let's move on. Awesome. That's great. Awesome. So, anything I should have asked? No, I don't think so. No, I think this was a lot of good questions, and I'm just glad to share this. Yeah. Because you can only speak of it so much, hopefully that people get to see this and get inspired to say, okay, yeah, I mean, like I said, it feels like a lifetime ago, but to deal with 2 years in a row, 45% growth, something that I wouldn't even see tangible, right, since being open since 2011. So I've never saw that to be a tangible thing. Mm-hmm. And not only was it tangible, sustainable to a point, but then when we realized it's not sustainable, we created the rocks to make it sustainable. Right. Yeah, I think, as I recall, that time you had the cash flow crunch, we went on pause. If I remember correctly, you had a 6-month plan to get out of it. Yes. You're like, we're going to evaluate, but we think it's going to take 6 months until we're back, quote, on your feet and ready to re-engage. And then you called me early and said, hey, we're ready. halfway in.
Yeah, yeah.
It was like 3 months in. Like,
one quarter in.
oh wow, holy
Yeah.
smokes.
We set the rocks.
Yeah,
And we said, this is what's most important.
yeah,
Let's get to it. And we all did. And we completed all the rocks. And then all of a sudden, here it was 3 months later, going into the other quarter, and that's when I called you. I was like, "Hey, let's get this back on the schedule."
Right.
And
yeah.
you're like, "All right, let's do it." And so, but yeah, that's
awesome.
we had to set what's most important. It's a tough thing to do because so much is coming at you. But sometimes you just have to say, "Wait 90 days. We're focusing on this."
Right. That's great.
And we'll document it. So we'll get back to it. It's not I'm going to forget it, but
Right.
we've got to focus on this.
Awesome. What if you hadn't done EOS, or you continue to self-implement?
In all honesty, with the market shift in 2023 that we dealt with,
Yeah.
The housing percentage going up to 8%,
Right.
et cetera, I don't think we would be in business.
Oh wow, really?
I don't think so. It was a major hit. I mean, we had a negative 50% that year.
Oh wow.
So that being said, that was a tough hit. Now, I think could we have survived it? Yeah. Maybe me continuing to be in the field. But in reflecting on that, God has a path for all of us, right? So right now, as you know, right, I'm dealing with my arm issue,
Right.
Based on, surgeries. The field is out. So
Right.
if I would have just kept going down that path, then I would have been at this current point disabled from doing field work,
Right.
which means the company would have shut down.
Right. Oh yeah.
So without getting the team to buy in and showing them that vision and having it documented, yeah, it would have been bad because of the current things that I'm dealing with physically.
Right.
To not lead the team. But now I'm leading the team way better than I ever have. And I'm leading them by having leaders lead the team.
Awesome. Well, good. Thank you, man, again, for being here. Really appreciate you blocking this time out and just getting prepared, being ready for this. And I'm grateful that you want the word to get out.
Yes.
So thanks for that,
Yes.
your willingness.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Awesome.